Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know in my last video I had mentioned that I work at Walt Disney World, and so I really wanted to kind of like take you guys back to the very beginning of my Disney journey. I did start off in the Disney College program. It was an incredible experience, and so I thought today it would be fun to kind of do the DCP tag, but as an alumni instead of somebody who's just now going into it. I think it might offer maybe a little bit of perspective, yeah. So the first question is, how did you hear about the program? So I don't remember how I knew about the program. Growing up, I knew that Disney was my end goal and I wanted to be there forever and ever and ever. And so I guess I just kind of started like looking at how to work for Disney, and I'm pretty sure I just came across something online that said like Disney College program. And in high school I was like, I don't know what I want to do, and it was like I could work at Disney and that's what I want to do. So I was like, that's queen. How was the interview process? The interview process for me was very easy. I feel like I'm very fortunate in that area. I applied the first day, got my web-based interview within 20 minutes, and then after that, maybe about an hour to 2 hours later, I was offered a phone interview, and so then I scheduled that. And fun fact, I did apply 3 times. The first time I applied, it was about 3 years ago. I still wanted to like see what what it was, if that makes sense. Like I was still in high school, so it's like, I don't know what this is. What's this interview process like? I really wanted to just kind of figure it all out. So I did that. The phone interview was great. Very easy. All 3 times. It was very easy. The recruiters who you talk to on the phone are so sweet. They're so nice. They know what you're doing. They make it a very relaxed environment, so you're really not ever uncomfortable or things like that. The second time, the lady was a little bit more formal. Talk to me about your work experience and very like situational questions like, oh, well, if you have this happening, how do you deal with this? And then my last time, they, I guess, had record or something like that I had already been accepted twice previously. And my recruiter, Shireen, she was phenomenal. We talked about where I was working at the time. And she miraculously enough knew like the company that I worked for, and we just kind of like bonded and talked about like our significant others. It was like I left that interview, or like I hung up the phone, and after that interview I was like, I got it. Like I have never been that confident in my entire life. And it was just, man, Shireen was like, if you get Shireen, you got a good one. She's phenomenal. I love her. So the third question is, where were you when you found out? So most recent time, I remember I was I was at school in Vegas, and I got the email on my phone and it said congratulations, but like I really wanted to know what my role was. And so I told my teacher I was like going to the bathroom, and I ran to the library because it wouldn't load on my phone. It needed like a desktop version. So I ran to the computer and like I called my boyfriend. I was like, and he was sleeping and he wasn't answering. And I kept calling and I kept calling. And then he finally answered, and I was like, I got in. And it was so exciting. And yeah, it was just, I don't know. I really wish I could have been somewhere else besides school, because literally didn't pay attention to anything else that day. That whole week probably, actually. Like, let's be honest. Bye, I'm going to Disney World. But it was so cool. What is your role and what were your preferred roles? So my role was, I was merchandise over at the Grand Floridian. It was a really like unique and interesting experience, because here you're at the flagship resort, and things run a little bit differently over there, but also I was kind of at like an older resort. But what I mean by older is like the clientele was a little bit older. Like our shops closed about an hour earlier than everybody else's, and like the resorts and stuff. And I never really had those like crazy like 13-hour shifts or something like that. Like I was very fortunate. Now that I'm like thinking about it, like now that I'm still like in resorts, and I was in resorts, like I don't know if I could ever like go to the park park life anymore, because it's like I'm so spoiled. Like I go to work at 8 a.m. and I'm off by 10:30. Like I'm not there till 4 a.m., till 3 a.m. No, I don't do any of that. I'm there for normal people hours, and it's great, and I love it. But my preferred roles, obviously, just like everybody else in the Mother, I wanted to be a character performer. Both times the first time I didn't audition, just because I was still kind of like in high school and not too sure what the heck was going on. But the last 2 times I made it all the way through, and the audition is an incredible experience. It's so fun. If you haven't done it yet, I highly suggest it. It's such a good time. You go, you dance around, and that's it. You go, you dance around, you leave. It was great. Obviously, since I am not in entertainment, you obviously know how that ended. But the only thing that kind of irks me about like the fact that I haven't made it yet into entertainment is every year that I auditioned, they would send out the the congratulations, like you're a character performer, or the I'm sorry you're no longer in consideration at this time, on my birthday. Every year. It's fine. What's my birthday anyways, The next question is, how did you find your roommates, and how many did you want? None. So I knew that I didn't want to be down here without my boyfriend, so housing really wasn't an option for me because he really had no interest in doing the Disney College program. So what we did is we just, I asked a lot of my cast member friends, on like those pages and stuff, like on the Facebook pages, where do you guys recommend living? And we found this apartment that we're in right now, and I was like, great, sounds good. And we just moved out here by ourselves. I really didn't have any interest in living with other people. I know that sounds kind of like rude, I guess, but it just wasn't for me. I've heard horror stories, and I've also heard really incredible experiences, and so it just seemed like the safer bet for me. Face ID, hello. What are you going to miss while on the program? So I moved out here for a year because my lease was for a year. So I was just kind of like betting on the fact that I would like it out here. Or that I would at least find a job after my CP. But what do I miss about back home? I miss the weather. The weather is incredible. I miss my dogs. I miss Raising Cane's chicken fingers because your girl loves chicken fingers and french fries. I miss Disneyland, which is weird because you wouldn't think that I would because I live in Disney World. But Disneyland is different, and I miss it. I just kind of miss like the feeling of being outside, like enjoying being outside, because like here it's humid, it's gross, it's like muggy, and it's not really enjoyable. But like we just went back home for a while, and I was like, ugh, give me all the sun, give me all the fresh air, give me the mountains, give me it. It was great. It was great. I love it. What is your favorite Disney park? Disneyland. Although I don't really know if that counts. Well, Disneyland and California Adventure are my favorites. But over here, I would say Magic Kingdom, but only in the morning and only at night. Those are the best times to go. During the day, it's kind of like hellhole, and you just want to avoid the whole thing completely. First thing you want to do when you get there. The first thing I did when I got to Florida is we moved in here, and we had ordered one of those like mattresses that come in a box, and that was the first thing we opened. We cut it open, let it like inflate for like 5 seconds, and we took a nap, and it was a beautiful, glorious nap. What was number 1 on your bucket list? Number 1 on my bucket list. I don't know if I really had a bucket list, but I knew coming out here I wanted to really like get to do like everything that everybody talks about. Like, so if you have your one chance to go to Disney World, right, and you took everybody's top recommendations, like that's what I wanted to do. So we've been to Hoop-Dee-Doo about 9 times, and it was great. I love it. I will probably do it 13 more times. I really wanted to do Flight of Passage. Flight of Passage is 10,000% worth the hype. not worth the wait. There's a difference. I would always, I love closing the park. I love, love, love closing Magic Kingdom and being the very last people there, and people, like, I love, like, when you're, like, the very, very last people and, like, the cast members actually physically, like, kick you out. That is just such a beautiful thing because you get to enjoy the park. You hear the sound, like, you hear the music, you see the castle, and there's no one else. It is the most beautiful, beautiful thing. I love it so much. The last thing is one thing you hope to take away from your program. The biggest thing that I took away from my program is to always be very vocal about what you want. So, for example, I knew that I wanted to stay on with Disney afterwards, and I knew that I wanted to be in some sort of a entertainment role. So I was very vocal with my leaders and coordinators and stuff like that, and I would do meet and greets, and I've met managers and stuff in entertainment, and I feel like the role I'm in now is the closest role I could be in that's not in entertainment, if that makes sense. I, do the hoedown throwdown with kids, I do the Cupid shuffle, I tie-dye, I make slime, I go down the water slide, I play bingo, I set up a movie, and I play video games with kids. I think that is the closest entertainment role I could have without physically being in entertainment. And because entertainment is my end goal, I know that the role that I'm in right now is preparing me for when I do eventually get into entertainment, and that this is the closest thing. So what I do now will only prepare me and teach me things to make me a better character performer when I inevitably get there, because I will audition over and over and over and over and over again until they eventually take pity on me and they're like, okay, fine, whatever. Alrighty, and that's all the questions that were on the DCP tag. If you're doing the DCP, best of luck. I hope you love it and enjoy it and don't take it for granted, because it is an incredible experience, okay? It is so phenomenal. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will answer every single one of them. I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about helping others. If you want to work for Disney, you absolutely can work for Disney. There's so many beautiful things that come out of working for this company. So those are all the questions on the DCP tag. Please let me know if you have any other questions. I would love to help you. I would love to answer any questions that you have. I think that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!